I think people with ADHD notice patterns, make connections. So in those ways, I think it can help also. But it is definitely challenging to live with it. I mean, you can make it an advantage because that's just the way my brain works. I'm interested in a lot of different things at the same time. And that is very typical of somebody with ADHD. But there are also challenges that come with it, which are very real. Like, having severe anxiety at times and not being able to compose yourself, feeling dysregulated in environments which are overstimulating. And that's challenging for anybody who works in cinema because you're around a lot of people all the time, a lot of noise. Sensory overload സംഭവിക്കുന്നതൊക്കെ ഭയങ്കര നോർമലാണ്. I had a late diagnosis, but I've still kind of, I think what I would describe it as is, like a swan or a duck that's gliding on water, but is paddling furiously underneath. So that's how it feels to me. Because when people see me, they think, oh, she's like quite composed. And she seems to get all the things that she's getting things done, but it takes an enormous amount of effort for me to actually get things done because my mind gets distracted very easily. I have a difficult relationship with time, so there is a lot of effort that I put in to operate in this world in a way that doesn't trouble other people because nammal time inde karyathilokka I really value being professional and being on set on time, and I have to make an extra effort so that I don't lose track of time. It's just the way I think I overestimate how much time I have and stuff. But I have to teach myself. If I have to be somewhere at 2:00, I have to plan ahead. Like from morning, I have to plan so that. So for me, ipo oru divasthil oru karyam cheyanundengil that consumes the entire day because I have to retroactively plan how how the entire day is going to pan out. It's challenging for sure. I'm glad that I figured out that this is what it is because I didn't know this was not normal. I thought this is how everybody works. And I would keep telling myself, why are you so lazy? Like why do you, my room, for example, there are doom piles all over when I'm stressed because I can't manage anymore. And I just have to, like, it's almost like I have blinders on. It's all there. And my parents are like, how are you living in this room? There must be things growing here, But, and then I go into this overdrive of cleaning up, and then I have to clean up everything, in one go. It has to be spick and span. So there are lots of these challenges, and this whole thing of being interested in different things also comes from a mind that's jumping from one thing to the other. So I've never been able to, even when I was a child, I think when people would ask me what you want to be, every other time I would have a different answer. And I think that's also maybe why I became an actor, because you get to be different people. It can help also.
Are you writing your own script?
So I've been very hesitant to write on. I have ideas and I've written like outlines, but I've never really actually sat down and written a full film script on my own. There is a short film script that I wrote, again, like this, Padiratriki, I got excited and I sat and wrote in one. It's that thing of flow, right? And you just go into a bubble and you're not thinking about anything else. And I was awake till like 6 in the morning. I wrote, and then I happened to be talking to Girish Gangadhan, the DOP of Jallikattu, and he used to come walking along where I stay. So I was up, and then I told him I've written this, and he was like, do you want to come for a walk? And I joined him on the walk, and I told him, and he was like, നമുക്കത് ഷൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാലോ. പക്ഷേ എനിക്ക് ഈ പെർഫെക്ഷനിസം പ്ലസ് ഇമ്പോസ്റ്റർ സിൻഡ്രോം ഉള്ളത് കാരണം I find it very difficult to get started to actually make something, which is why having team members who do that and push you to create really helps. Because that I do paralyze myself often. And then there's the other scripts that Dominic and I had worked on, which are still like things that we need to think about. What do we do with it? I do have a few ideas, but I haven't really written them in like full screenplay format yet.
How eager are you to get back to writing for Loka?
Very eager. So even yesterday, I was like, oh, now we have to go back now. Enough of running around. Then production was like, oh, actually you have to go to Bombay again. I was like, okay, sherry. But then when we come back, we have to get, because I get anxious, like we have to get started.
Is there a timeline that you have, a timetable when to release it?
No, but the first priority is locking the script. And then we'll see But yeah, it won't be too long. It won't take 8 years.
So Easter eggs ഒക്കെ place ചെയ്യുന്നതിനകത്തൊക്കെ do you find joy in that?
Yeah, I have fun. Yeah.
പാലപ്പൂ കാണിക്കുന്നത്
Yeah.
അങ്ങനത്തെ സംഭവങ്ങൾ.
I think both Dominic and I trip on these details. Like he has Vandanathina poster and all in the boys' house. Then he's a huge Arsenal fan. Then a jersey. And there was this huge thing happening between Arun Kurian and Dominic. Because Arun Kurian supports another club. That Dominic just was like pulling his leg, saying that no, you have to wear the Arsenal jersey. And then Arun Kurian was like, illa, patilla. There was this thing happening. Finally, we didn't make him wear it. But like, you know, because we're all friends also, there's always this stuff happening.
Dog with an amputated leg. അത് പിന്നെ വിശാഖ് നായർ
Celine's was like, yeah, that was like moon goddess in the reference ആണെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞിട്ടാണ് Celine's വെച്ചത്.
പഴയ കള്ളിയങ്കാട്ട് നീലിന്റെ ആ മൂവി പ്ലേ
ചെയ്യുന്ന പിന്നെ ഹീസ് മലയാറ്റൂരിലെ യക്ഷി വായിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട് ചന്തു. സോ ഫോർ ഷാഡോയിങ് ഉണ്ട് കുറെ അതില്. പിന്നെ ഈവൻ ലൈക്ക് Naslin trying to tie his shoelaces, then there's a payoff later. Yeah. So all of these were planned.
Anna.
yes.
Anna?
Mutonde.
Yeah.
First ലോക്കിനെ ഹണ്ട് ചെയ്യുന്ന ലേഡിയിലും ഒരു
എല്ലാരും കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു. ഇനി നമുക്ക് പുതിയ തിയറീസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കണം. സോ
പിന്നെ ആക്ച്വലി രണ്ട് ട്രാൻസിഷൻ ഷോട്ട്സ് ഉണ്ട്. അതൊക്കെ
so basically Dominic when he writes short divisions also. And Nimisham Dominic's chemistry idum kodiya. Dominic is a very visual person, so when he writes the script itself adile short transitions okke ezhidittaan cheyyunnu. Then ivare pre-production samayathe ottiri work cheyidittulladanam appare idokke undayirunnu enganeyayirikkum idinu aduthailekku povunnu.
Also this Vishak Nair cameo.
So he was shooting, I mean he was in Bangalore then we were shooting there, and we asked him if you would like to come, and he came angane. Pakshe there is scope for, you know, because that is not there in the film. ഇത് പാട്ട് റിലീസ് ചെയ്തപ്പോ വിശാഖാന്ന് മനസ്സിലാവില്ല അതില്. അതെ, ഇതില് ഈ എക്സ്ട്രാ ഫുട്ടേജ് നമ്മൾ യൂസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട് യൂട്യൂബിലുള്ള ഇതില്. ബട്ട് ദിസ് ഇസ് എ വേൾഡ് ദാറ്റ് ഹാസ് എ ലോട്ട് ഓഫ് പൊട്ടൻഷ്യൽ ഫോർ ഐ തിങ്ക് നോബഡി ഹസ് ബിക്കം വെരി പോപ്പുലർ.
ഈ ഫസ്റ്റ് കട്ട് 3 hours പറഞ്ഞില്ലേ, ലൈക്ക് ഡു യു പ്ലാൻ ടു ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ഫുട്ടേജ് ഓഫ് ദിസ് ഫിലിം ഇൻ ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് സം ഓഫ് ദോസ് ഫുട്ടേജ്?
ഐ ഡോണ്ട് നോ, ദാറ്റ് ഐ ഹാവ് ടു ആസ്ക്. ഡിലീറ്റഡ് സീൻസ് വരാൻ ചാൻസ് ഉണ്ട്, എസ്പെഷ്യലി ബോയ്സിന്റെ ഹ്യൂമർ സ്റ്റഫ് കുറേ സാധനങ്ങൾ കട്ട് ചെയ്ത് പോയിട്ടുണ്ട്. But there is stuff that will be released over time.
So the boys will also come back.
Too early to say. We'll see.
Matthew, Charlie, our name edakka
Michael and
Michael, Charlie.
Michael, if you see his costume, there is an homage to Michael Jackson. So that's why the name. Charlie, you know why Charlie. Recall value or recognizable names ആണല്ലോ. So in that scene when Toby mentions ഞാനും ചാർലിയും കൂടെ പോവാൻ, immediately the audience knows who he's talking about.
പിന്നെ ശാന്തിയുടെ കരിയറിൽ ഒരുപാട് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യപ്പെടാത്തൊരു വർക്കാണ് പാപം ചെയ്യാത്തവർക്കെല്ലാം. ഐ മീൻ ഇൻ വിച്ച് ഇറ്റ്സ് എ റെയർ ഫിലിം ഡൂയിങ് കോമഡി. സോ കോമഡി ചെയ്യുന്നത് എത്രത്തോളം ഡിഫിക്കൽട്ട് ആയിട്ട് തോന്നുന്നു?
It is definitely challenging, and I definitely have to learn a lot more about using my body effectively for comedy. But it was a challenge that I really enjoyed. Such a wacky character and adile dialogue I think is really important, right? ഇണയായിട്ടും തുണയായിട്ടും നിൽക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല, പക്ഷെ കീഴ്പ്പെട്ട് ജീവിക്കാൻ പറ്റില്ല. And that is what everybody wants actually. That goes for both genders. Nobody wants to be submitting to another person. We need to be on equal terms as partners. Adanallo adinte idea. I think it was a film that worked really well for a certain section of the audience, and it was hated by another section of the audience. And that has always been my experience with films. I think most of the work that I've done, ഒരു niche set of ആൾക്കാർക്ക് ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് ഇഷ്ടപ്പെടും, ബാക്കിയുള്ളവർക്ക് ഇത് എന്താണെന്ന്. പക്ഷേ I really appreciated the script of that film. Shambhu Purushothaman, the director, it was fun to read. Because again he also has a background in academia, so all his insights about how people behave, about the hypocrisies of our social system, adakka adile undayirunnu. And I think people it has found its audience over time after it was released on. I think pandemic സമയത്ത് തൊട്ട് മുമ്പായിരുന്നു റിലീസ് ചെയ്തത്. അപ്പോൾ പാൻഡമിക്കിൻ്റെ ഇടയിൽ അതിൽ നിന്നുള്ള കുറച്ച് ക്ലിപ്സ് ഒക്കെ ഭയങ്കര വൈറലായിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. Yeah, it was fun working on. Linda was a fun character to play.
There's been an online discussion. കുറച്ച് ആൾക്കാരുടെ ഡിബേറ്റ് ആണ്. ലോക എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഒരു വുമൺ സൂപ്പർ ഹീറോ വരുന്നു, അതിൽ ഫെമിനിസത്തിന് പങ്കില്ല, ഇത് നന്നായി എടുത്തത് കൊണ്ട് വരുന്നതാണ്, ഫെമിനിസത്തിന് ഇവിടെ ഒരു റോൾ ഇല്ല, ഫെമിനിസം കാരണോ WCC കാരണോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇതൊന്നും അല്ല ഇതിലേക്ക് എത്തിച്ചത്. What's your take?
Can you elaborate more on that?
Some people say credit that ഇത് ഇവിടെ വരെ എത്തിയത്, ലോകയിലേക്ക് എത്തിയതിന് പുറകിൽ കുറെ കഥകളുണ്ട്. അതായത് നോട്ട് ലൈക്ക് റിലേറ്റഡ് ടു യുവർ ടീം, feminism എങ്ങനെ വളർന്നു, സിനിമ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയിൽ.
I think generally there's a cultural shift, I think, but the way that film was made is also really important. It is accessible, right? It's made in a way that anybody who's not thinking about these things can also connect to. So yeah, I think generally people's attitude towards women has changed in our society, and that was reflected in the way the collaborations happened on set. Whether it was with me and Dominic, or whether it was with any other woman who came on board to be part of the project. അതിലെല്ലാം ഒരു എന്താ ഒരു അപ്ഡേഷൻ ഉണ്ടായിട്ടുണ്ട് in terms of both genders, in terms of how they view working equations with each other. And I think that is what has created this film. ഇതിനൊരു ഫെമിനിസ്റ്റ് ആംഗിൾ റീഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു സിനിമയാണ്. But it was also it also became possible because as a generation, there's been a shift in our understandings of gender equations and gender politics, and not in terms of theory, in terms of how practically we interact with each other. അപ്പോൾ ആ റെസ്പെക്റ്റ് അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും കൊടുക്കാനുള്ള സ്പേസ് എല്ലായിടത്തും ഡെവലപ്പായി വരുന്നതിൻ്റെയും ഒരു ഔട്ട്കം ആണ് ഇത്. ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് എ സ്റ്റാൻഡ് അലോൺ തിങ്. I think it's just it's ഒരു zeitgeist മാറുന്നതിൻ്റെ ഒരു റിഫ്ലക്ഷനും കൂടെയാണ്. And I think for that, obviously all of these conversations that have happened before help in terms of making people more aware of not just theoretically alla, in terms of how to collaborate with people of different genders, whether it's like from a man's point of view or from a woman's point of view.